right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, another group of businesses burglarized, and for some business owners, it's not the first time.
I just wish it would stop.
The latest area targeted. Plus tonight, legal pot means expunged records. But what crimes are automatically erased and what crimes mean going to court? We explain.
And our top story tonight, weather whiplash. The chilly change working across the bi-state region right now.
Tonight, the temperatures are dropping, and tomorrow you're in for a cold, rude awakening. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Yesterday, record November warmth. Tomorrow, a reality check. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, we got to make a wardrobe adjustment here heading into tomorrow. That's for sure. Wind chills right out of the gate tomorrow morning will be in the 30s in St. Louis. Temperatures may end up there later in the afternoon, too. Right now, showers, even some thunderstorms stretching from Iowa back into west central portions of Missouri. They are moving northeast. They are behind the cold front, and most likely they will fall apart before they get to St. Louis. But what will make it here is the cold air. Kirksville's now dropped to 39 degrees. It's 31 in Des Moines, 27 in Omaha. We're still at 64 in St. Louis. But tomorrow, your wind chills will be the big story, in addition to the fact that it is much colder. All day long, wind chills stay in the 30s. Temperatures drop through the 40s heading into tomorrow. So as we head into this weekend, here comes the cold air. You've got gusty winds to deal with tomorrow and again on Saturday to some degree. And it looks like this cold pattern will stick with us through Thanksgiving. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll also talk about the tropics in addition to our 10-day forecast.
All right, Scott, thanks. It's happened again. Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating another string of burglaries at restaurants.
Police say in the past 2 days, thieves broke into at least half a dozen businesses across the city. Our Robert Townsend is live in the Central West End, talking to a business owner who has been hit 3 times. Robert.
Hey, Ann and Mike, right now, police still don't know if the same groups of burglars are committing these crimes. One thing is certain, though, the guy who runs this bar and grill is definitely fed up.
It's just a setback each time.
Mac Hill is angry, and with good reason. Last month, burglars broke into his Mac Delicious ice cream shop in the Central West End.
They came in through a brick through the ice cream door.
Tuesday around 1:45 in the morning, 2 guys who wore hooded sweatshirts and gloves shattered his front glass door again. Hill says the burglars jumped on his counter, ransacked the area behind his cash registers, and stole a money box. The crimes weren't caught on surveillance video because the thieves immediately ripped apart Hill's security system.
And then took off. They were gone, and it couldn't have been more than 3 minutes.
Hill says 3 more burglars, likely with the same group, then ran around the corner and stormed inside his bar and grill. Security cameras here caught one of the criminals stealing a jukebox right off the wall.
Same MO. They bust the window out of the door, went in. One person went to the main register behind the bar. The other one went to the other register for about $7 grand in damage.
Money-hungry crooks have committed more than a dozen smash and grabs in St. Louis in recent weeks. Police say between late night Tuesday and early Wednesday, fast-moving burglars hit 5 guys on Lindo, High Point Drive-In on McCausland, and Sonny's Cantina on Manchester.
I think it's more frustrating than anything because they're doing more damage.
The burglars also smashed the glass door at Sonny's before they took off.
You know, as a business, we just can't do anything but keep moving forward and keep doing what we're doing and hope that it doesn't happen again.
Now, police tell us in many of the break-ins, the burglars wore hooded sweatshirts, gloves, and get this, they struck at night when the businesses were closed. Live in the Central West End, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a family is mourning the deaths of a couple married 63 years. They were killed in an early morning house fire in St. Charles County. Kenneth and Phyllis Zaire, both 84, were trapped inside their home on Tall Cedar Court, just north of New Melle. Family says the couple was a pillar in the community and deeply devoted to one another. That was made evident in Kenneth's call to 911.
My father said, "I'm not leaving my wife," and stayed with her to the end.
Investigators believe an appliance in the basement started the fire.
Tonight, the man said to be executed later this month for the killing of a Kirkwood police sergeant is now asking the U.S. Supreme Court to halt his execution. Kevin Johnson was 19 years old at the time of the 2005 killing of Sergeant Bill McEntee. He's set to die by lethal injection on November 29th.
Developing tonight, a Texas judge has blocked President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. The Trump-appointed judge ruled the program illegally overrides the power of Congress to make laws. The program is already on a temporary stay, while the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals here in St. Louis considers a separate lawsuit. 48 hours after Missouri voters approved legalizing recreational marijuana, we're taking a closer look at what this means for criminal marijuana offenses and the automatic expungement of some cases. New tonight, our Laura Barczewski talked with attorneys. Laura?
Mike, attorneys I spoke with today say people charged with a misdemeanor for possessing marijuana can have trouble finding an apartment, a job, and even getting student loans, making expungement very important to helping people move on.
Missouri Normal attorney Dan Viets says Missouri courts have 6 months to wipe thousands of criminal history records clean of marijuana-related offenses.
Anyone who has a municipal or state possession charge, which is a misdemeanor of either paraphernalia or marijuana itself, should have an automatic expungement of that by June 8 of 2023.
Viets says people who are in a correctional facility or on parole for marijuana-related offenses are going to have to go through a legal process to get those charges taken off their criminal records.
Up to 3 pounds should be automatically expunged, but amounts above that are very likely to be expungible as well, but they will not be automatic. The defendant should contact an attorney who does criminal defense law in order to pursue an expungement through the courts on larger amount of cases.
He says the courts have a year to take felony pot offenses that are no longer a crime off the records of people who already served time in prison or jail and are no longer on parole. ACLU attorney Tony Rothert says marijuana drug charges on someone's record can prevent them from getting a job, finding housing, and more.
One way that it can have a big effect on someone's life is it makes you ineligible for any federal student assistance to continue your education beyond high school. So student loans, Pell Grants, automatically off the table if you have a conviction on your record for any marijuana offense, no matter how young you were or how minor it was.
Rothert says they're going to keep a close eye on Missouri courts to make sure this happens.
They'll hear about it if it's not, but we fully trust the government of Missouri to take this new constitutional right as seriously as they do every other constitutional right.
Viets says tax on marijuana in Missouri is expected to bring in $41 million, and some of that money is expected to be used for the expungement process, which is estimated to cost between $6 and $7 million. Ann?
Thank you, Laura. Tonight, renewed efforts to fight a surge of respiratory illnesses in St. Louis, giving pandemic flashbacks. The St. Louis County Health Department began drive-through testing today for RSV, the flu, and COVID-19. If you have symptoms, health officials urge you to go and get tested. This free testing is offered Tuesdays at the John C. Murphy Health Center from 8 until 4. And then on Thursdays, they're administered at the South County Health Center. Appointments are not required. About half of the country is reporting high respiratory illness activity. The CDC says we're in the midst of a flu epidemic. Tonight, our Verified team is putting that classification into perspective. Here's Brandon Lewis.
Cases of the flu are on the rise nationwide. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report flu activity is high or very high in at least 17 states, exceeding the agency's projection for this point in the season. When cases increase significantly above normal, the flu is considered an epidemic. On November 4th, Dr. Jose Romero, director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, said the U.S. crossed the epidemic thresholds for flu. Soon after making the statement, online searches showed an increase in people wondering if it's normal for flu to reach epidemic status. So let's verify. Our sources are the CDC, the World Health Organization, Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health, and health information website Verywell Health. The CDC, WHO, and public health agencies around the world use the moving epidemic method to determine if a country is experiencing a flu epidemic. Each week, health officials look at the number of flu-related deaths that we've seen at this point in the season during the past 5 years. That data is averaged together, creating a baseline. Then they look at how many deaths we are seeing currently. If that number is significantly higher than expected, then it's considered an epidemic. The CDC also reviews this data on a state and city level and can declare a local epidemic. Since flu tends to peak at different times and places, our sources say it's actually common to experience an epidemic during some months and then see normal flu activity during others. So, yes, it is normal for flu seasons to reach epidemic status. During the pandemic, there were 2 years when we had significantly fewer cases than normal because of social distancing, masks, and other precautions that have since ended. This means our baseline to determine an epidemic is lower than it may have been had COVID-19 never hit. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What can we verify for you? Send an email, verify@ksdk.com. Tonight, a St. Louis landmark is once again flapping its wings and shining bright.
Yeah, just hours ago, they flipped on the switch on the Anheuser-Busch Flying Eagle sign along I-64 in Midtown. It went dark more than a year ago for renovations. Every light bulb was replaced and a new LED board was installed. The sign was first installed in 1962 and includes more than a mile of neon tubing.
Contamination concerns along Coldwater Creek.
I would say that North County is definitely in an environmental crisis.
Government researchers say a local school is safe from radioactive waste. Tonight, the I-Team uncovers new findings, giving cause for concern.
After one of the coldest starts to the month of November in St. Louis on record, the cold weather is going to be an adjustment for us. When the chance St. Louis could see the cold air and some moisture mixing together.
Right now, Jana Elementary School sits empty over concerns of high levels of radioactive waste. That's even though new testing from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers found no areas of concern.
Our I-Team has uncovered other health concerns linked to Coldwater Creek. Investigative reporter Paula Vassan shares new research about the other chemicals raising red flags.
The years Kim Visentine had with her son Zach just weren't enough.
We were blessed with him for 6 years of life.
He died from a rare brain tumor
that is typically found in folks who have been exposed to radiation or in older men over the age of 60.
His life filled with hospital stays and medical treatments. She believes his death was caused by a secret she only learned about years later, a threat hidden in a creek near her childhood home.
I grew up in Florissant. We spent a lot of our time running around on the creek banks, playing in the woods.
Visentine, who now lives just north of Detroit, is talking about Coldwater Creek. It's a 19-mile stream running through North County, the same stream that runs near Jana Elementary School, where an independent study found high levels of radioactive material. The study was a result of this class action lawsuit. It blames big companies that have made money from handling and storing nuclear waste during World War II. But test results just released by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers found no areas of concern at the elementary school, adding, from a radiological standpoint, the school is safe. Still, many are worried.
Am I angry with what's happened? Obviously.
Because she's been speaking out for 11 years.
So we started noticing that all of our friends had really rare cancers.
KSDK has covered her concerns over the past decade. She's one of the creators behind this Facebook group called Coldwater Creek. Just the facts, please. 22,000 members share their stories. It's those stories that led to this report in 2014 from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. It showed people in 8 zip codes around the creek had significantly higher cancer rates linked to radiation. 5 years later, this report from the CDC estimated that long-term exposure to Coldwater Creek could have increased the risk of developing lung cancer, bone cancer, or leukemia.
Who do you think needs to be held accountable here?
Ultimately, the government is responsible for this waste because they are the ones that created it. Was it done maliciously? No. It's more gross negligence. It falls on the Department of Energy.
Hello?
So we reached out to them.
What's your response to people being really worried about this?
In a follow-up email, a spokesperson told the I-Team, "We won't have any comment." So we kept asking questions. We found this map from the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Environmental experts say the dots around St. Louis's airport and everywhere from Bridgeton to Blackjack show polluting industries. North County has long been a hotspot.
People who live around here near Coldwater Creek tell us they're not getting the help needed to completely clean up the toxic mess, a mess that started in the 1940s, long before many people moved in.
It's just a tragedy.
Charles Miller works at the Missouri Confluence Waterkeeper, a nonprofit that advocates for clean water. He shows us the results of a new survey from his organization. It shows Coldwater Creek has the highest concentration of dangerous chemicals, known as PFAS or forever chemicals, in the Midwest.
They've been shown to have some negative health impacts on human beings, like cancer, kidney issues, reproductive system issues.
Would you call this an environmental crisis?
I would say that North County is definitely in an environmental crisis, but we didn't expect that it would be off the charts, kind of like it is now.
Is enough being done to fix this issue right now?
But we'd like to see folks move faster.
Visentine says she's been saying the same thing for too long. She wants North County residents included in the U.S. Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, a federal program for people who've been impacted by radiation.
So what we'd like to do is call on our elected officials.
Because North County residents, she says, shouldn't have to suffer forever. For the I-Team, Paula Bassan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for the 5 on your side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Tonight, Tropical Storm Nicole is pushing through the Florida Panhandle and into Georgia, delivering strong winds and rain. The storm made landfall this morning along Florida's east coast as a Category 1 hurricane. Erosion has caused seawalls and beachfront buildings to crumble into the Atlantic Ocean. At least 2 deaths have been blamed on the storm.
Back here at home, your weekend is bringing wind chills in the teens. Here's Scott.
Yeah, and we do have the changes on the way for sure. You know, November started off. We're 10 days into November. This is one of the warmest 10 first days of November on record going back to 1874, but that's about to change. We're going to get a little correction. Out at Lambert, temperatures are still in the 60s. That front is getting close to St. Louis, though. 64 right now. South winds ahead of the front, still on the warm side at 8 miles per hour. 77 was our high, 62 the low. We may challenge that low temperature before midnight, depending on how that front comes through. Nicole, by the way, has now just weakened to a depression, a lot of rain, potentially some spin-up tornadoes in the southeast. Then you have the system here through the middle part of the country with those showers out to our west. It's been a blizzard ongoing up across North Dakota, spreading into Minnesota. Our concern is this front. It is pressing towards St. Louis. Pittsfield's seen the temperature drop in the last 20 minutes or so, about 10, 15 degrees. So we're seeing the massive drop in temperatures. Columbia's down to 54. It's 39 now in Kirksville, 31 in Des Moines, 27 in Omaha. So that front sliding into the St. Louis area during the course of the next couple of hours. Now, the colder air does lag behind it a bit, along with the showers. We expect most of the rain to fizzle some before it gets to St. Louis. So by the time we get to 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, there will be some scattered showers or sprinkles around, but not a whole lot of rain for our early morning rush hour. And then by the afternoon hours, skies will tend to clear off. It is breezy all day long. It is cold all day long. Wind chills will stay in the 30s. Tomorrow night, another system scoots by to our south. That's going to produce a few snowflakes, perhaps, across southern portions of Illinois, southeast Missouri. Not enough to cause any problems. Ground temperatures still too warm. But by early Saturday morning, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. And there still will be a breeze Saturday morning. So your wind chills in that 15 to 20 degree range heading out the door. Skies will tend to brighten as we go through much of Saturday. Although north of St. Louis Saturday afternoon, you'll have some low clouds roll in. Sunday generally looks brighter. And while cold, we won't have as much of a breeze. So for your Veterans Day tomorrow, rather chilly, maybe an early morning sprinkle or shower, but most of us are dry. Then it's cold weather into next week. We do have a system that we're tracking here for Monday night into Tuesday. It looks like it would stay to our south at this point for the most part, but it may get close enough to us where some of that moisture and the cold air interact, and we could see our first snowflakes of the year.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, all I can say is you can't stop the Blues. You can only hope to contain them. We'll be right back. Has a Thursday night regular season win ever felt so good? I mean, it's been 20 days and about 483 hours since your last victory. It's awfully sweet. Hallelujah. Good karma early in this one. The Blues Warriors hockey team, made up of veterans, were on the ice for the anthem with the players. And Torrey Krug opens up the scoring right there. Blues led the Sharks 1-0. Second period, Pavel Buchnevich, great pass to Jordan Kyrou, and it's 2-1. Late second, Josh Levo, nice look to Brandon Saad, 3-2 note. And here's the goal that won it. 3-3 game, Callie Rosen with a rocket, and the Blues end the 8-game losing streak, the final 5-3.
Our guys will feel a lot better now with a win, but we know we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot, a ways to go, but it's a good starting point.
You're going to love Sports Plus this Sunday night. Scott Spezio is our spotlight story. 12 times in a rehab center, and he's still standing. Plus, the one and only Joe Buck. You're a passionate Blues fan. What are you seeing right now?
Are you going to make me cry right now? I don't know. I don't know where this team goes. I wouldn't be against a rebuild. I know that. I think at some point you have to retool, get younger, get faster, and if that comes to pass, then that comes to pass. But I'm not giving up. I'm still watching every game I can. I'm still watching on the road. I'm still checking the score when I'm doing Monday Night Football. They've been playing on Mondays the last couple of weeks. But, man, they got to turn around here fast.
The Cardinals are formulating their offseason game plan. We hope it includes Trey Turner, but doubt it. October wasn't very good to the Cardinals, but November has been good. Gold Gloves for Nolan Arenado and Brendan Donovan. The Players' Choice Awards named Paul Goldschmidt the league's most outstanding player. Goldie also won the Silver Slugger today as the best offensive first baseman. Why not? He led the NL in slugging, OPS, and that is pretty good, isn't it? His next award will be the MVP. Arenado won the Silver Slugger at third base, 30 homers, 103 RBIs, and 42 doubles. He led third baseman in slugging and RBIs. What a duo. And what a season the basketball Billikens may have. They'll be tested too. Memphis, Maryland, and Auburn are on the non-conference schedule. SLU will host Evansville on Saturday night. Travis Ford knows he has something special this season. He calls Yuri Collins, this man, the best point guard in the country. He did lead America in assists last season. He believes that Gibson Jimerson is one of the best shooters in the country. And you throw in the great Javante Perkins, and this is really a good squad. What about the players' take on the season?
As a team, we know, hey, we got to come play. Every team we play, they're going to look at us and say, hey, that's St. Louis. They're supposed to be good. They're supposed to be this. So, that makes us come out to play. That makes us play together. It makes us play harder because we have to. Because if we don't, we're going to lose. So you got to come to play every single game.
That's what Incarnate Word High School did last season in winning the state title. Their win streak is 68. Well, listen to this. Max Preps today released their national rankings for the season, and Incarnate Word is a preseason #1 team in the country.
Nice to be recognized, and really when you step back and think of how many high schools are in the country and they have us #1, it's pretty amazing.
There's about 20,000 high schools in the country, and our school, Incarnate Word, is #1 in girls basketball. That's
pretty
insane.
Impressive. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Frank, thanks.
An early Veterans Day celebration at a Jefferson County high school. The very big surprise for one student. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Hillsborough High School is celebrated early today with a Veterans Day assembly.
For one student, it was an assembly she won't forget. Senior Airman Gavin Woods surprised his sister Jillian. He's back home from an 18-month deployment. Jillian says she's proud of her big brother.
He took something that he didn't know he wanted to do and he made the best out of it, and he was able to just find something that he loves to do in life and is able to serve the country while doing it. I'm very proud of my brother.
Jillian was not happy, however, when she learned Gavin has been home for a week and kept it a secret.
Oh man. Tomorrow there are several Veterans Day ceremonies and events taking place on both sides of the river. Dozens of businesses are also offering freebies and discounts for our vets for tomorrow. And for a full list of those, just text the word veterans to 314-425-5355.
And Scott has a final check of the chilly weather.
It is going to be cold tomorrow around St. Louis. We're looking at temperatures dropping into the 40s. We might even be down into the upper 30s for a while tomorrow. Wind chills will be in the 30s all day long. Don't forget, Heat Up St. Louis could use an easy online donation from you to help keep our seniors especially safely warm during this cold weather season.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Guests tonight, Will Ferrell and Lindsay Lohan. Have a great tomorrow.